I'm Daisy.
And I'm Scarlett.
We're identical twins, and we started the ethical fashion brand Monozygotics together. Monozygotics is like the medical term for identical twins.
Yeah, so that's where it came from.
Yeah.
I don't know if we even really chose it. Like, I don't think I ever particularly was like, I'm going to be a designer. I just used to make things, and we were both really into clothes, and then it just kind of happened.
Yeah.
I think.
Yeah.
Even when we went to uni, we didn't even like tell each other we were both applying for fashion courses. It just suddenly happened. We were like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
And just like went with it.
It's never been like a choice. It's just like us following what we enjoy doing. It's just led us here.
Yeah.
I guess. When we were like little, our favourite toys were like a dressing up box, and we used to like just go through all of our mum's magazines and dress up in her clothes, and that's that kind of thing.
Yeah.
And then as we got a bit older, we started just like making ourselves stuff as well.
Yeah, I used to sew, or like not even make the whole thing, but just do kind of alterations or adding on some little fun bits. So yeah, we did start sewing quite young as well.
So we both went to UAL, the University of the Arts London, but there's kind of different colleges within UAL. So
we went to the same one.
We both went to LCF, but like at different campuses.
Yeah.
But both in London. And Scarlett did women's wear, so like actually designing and making, and I did fashion media practice and criticism, which was kind of...
It was like everything. I think you did like photography, videography, style, like basically everything that's not the sewing.
Yeah.
You did.
Yeah. So very complementary courses. From my perspective, I feel like it sounds so bitter, but like designers are definitely like UAL like just wants to churn out designers, and I think other campuses get like a little bit less attention, a little bit less funding. Like our tutor had to like sneak down to print worksheets for us because like we couldn't print stuff for free. And then like I know at some other campuses they do get like free stuff, so there was always a little bit of not getting the kind of glamour that designers have. Yeah, your course was very much, I think, just like a test run. It actually was. They've cancelled my course now.
so you were kind of guinea pig.
Yeah, I was a guinea pig.
But yeah, mine was fun. It was huge though. I think there was like maybe 6 classes, and each one had like 30 kids, so it was just like...
I know, on
a lot.
The design course as well, because they pack in so many students to try and like, I guess, put out good designers. Like when they were coming up to the end of the year, like there weren't enough sewing machines for everyone, and people had to like Scarlett had to buy herself a sewing machine. Kids would be like queuing up outside the university like before it opened so they could try and use one. It's just like quite intense.
I've always done, it's not necessarily women's wear, like the kind of blocks and models we had to use were women, but my stuff's always been a bit more unisex and also a bit more like costumey than just the kind of trendy fashion that they wanted us to produce. So there were a couple of disagreements with tutors, but I enjoyed it. To begin with, it was quite hard, and I was kind of like, maybe this is the wrong course for me. But by second year, I just got the most incredible tutors who initially didn't really understand what I was doing, but just kind of like trusted me with it. Then eventually they were like, oh, okay, I see like what you're doing and what your style's like, and I kind of understand it now. So they actually just gave me a chance, and that was so nice. And eventually they were just really supportive and like, yeah, do that weird thing you want to do, just do it. So yeah, I think it's all down to me just being really lucky getting really great tutors. We helped each other with our final
projects. Well, because I was making a film, so I needed some costumes for it, and then Scarlett had designed a collection, but she obviously needed like a lookbook and a film and like all of that stuff of it. So we came together to help out with that. But I think, I mean, like if you are making clothes, you somehow need to communicate them to the world, otherwise you're just making like in secret. And then similarly, if you are making content or like writing or making films, like you need something to film or like to take pictures of.
But I will say, I think especially in fashion brands, it's very much like the design is like the icon. Everyone's like, oh my god, they're amazing. And it's like, but Daisy literally does everything, every possible thing, and so many other brands have these people who create all the pictures, the videos of this and that, but then they never get mentioned or like credited, and all you ever see is the designer.
That's true.
So there's so much that goes into it that's not making the clothes, and I think all that stuff is almost more important.
I'd say equally important. I think it's all equal, but it is true, like the designers will get put on a pedestal, but they won't like give credit to the whole team behind like the models, the makeup team, like the producer.
The world actually see the clothes that have been made.
we finished uni in 2020, so that's when we like set up our Instagram and started like making stuff together. But as for like functioning as a proper brand, like we moved into the studio like 3 months ago. I registered us as a business about 4 months ago. so we're new. Yeah. We have like 4 key pillars that I feel like encapsulate everything. So they're transparency, inclusivity, sustainability, and individuality. We do ethical fashion, so that's the sustainable side, kind of covered with like the fabrics we use and stuff, but also ethical fashion is kind of pointless if no one can afford it, or if only people of like a certain body type can wear it. So we're trying to make it exciting, trying to make it affordable, trying to make it inclusive.
And obviously that's like a lot of things for one brand to do. So we're not claiming that we do all of them perfectly or do them all equally, because obviously with each separate collection, maybe this one's more sustainable or this one has more sizes, or you know, but it's all about trying. And sometimes people have said to us, oh, actually I'd feel more included if you did this, and we're like, oh my god, thank you so much, we'll make that change. So yeah, we're just constantly trying new things and learning and getting great feedback from people as well.
So there's like the basic kind of supply chain and pricing transparency. So like we break down on our website how much of the cost is profit, how much is like the wages, what the wage per hours are, like what we donate, what the fabric costs are, so people actually know what they're buying.
And where their money is going.
But we're also just very transparent about like the whole process of owning a brand. Like we'll share on social media like, oh, this is difficult, or like this experience just happened, or like, oh no, look at the mess that we made just now. Like just trying to show that it's not all perfect, I guess.
And I think that's nice, because then as well, if people want to buy from us, they will have seen on Instagram literally like the hands that made their clothes, the studio, the sewing machine, so they can like actually make a completely informed decision on where they want to put their money and who they want to support.
We've just been working on a new collection that will hopefully be out in September. So generally the process for us starts with like, we kind of have a little meeting, go to a coffee shop or something, and we just discuss like the themes and topics that have been on our mind or that we've been seeing cropping up.
We've been thinking about a lot recently that we'd like to explore a bit more.
For example, in 2021, I don't know.
Tell me more and I'll know if you're...
The collection we did that year, we'd been talking about like protests and like how like futile it can seem when you're just like all this power you're like trying to speak up against. So that was like a big influence from that collection. I don't remember why, but for this newest collection we were both thinking about like 1950s. But I have no idea why.
It must have just been things we'd been seeing here kind of like... built up in our minds.
But we started researching that basically as our starting point. So we're watching a lot of films about suburbia, because it's just very interesting. There's a lot to talk about there with like gender roles and stereotypes, like the nuclear family, and then feminist stuff and like queer issues and like all of that. It's just very interesting. So that was a big starting point, and then from there we just started trying to, I guess, challenge the like very stereotypical and like utopian supposedly family and like life that you were meant to have,
and kind of show how, especially in like this idea of suburbia, there's actually like kind of weird dark undertones to it. So we were kind of making these beautiful pastel like 50s things, but bringing in these kind of like aspects of it. So for the yellow, the sort of character we had in mind was a very kind of overbearing mum who's like goes to all the meetings, takes her kids to every single after school activity, makes everything for the bake sale, like very, you know? And so that's why we did yellow, because yellow has that kind of upbeat and slightly...
It's also... because I did like a project on colour theory once, like yellow has links to like anxiety, supposedly. So that, so she's very prim and proper, and this is all neat with the little bows, and her shirt underneath kind of does up like this, so it's very uptight and gives you that kind of wrapped up, like frenzied image. And so the print we made for that is this gingham, but it's a little bit, it's like warped, because obviously gingham makes you think of picnics, summer, like catering, but hers is also a bit like, oh, because she's just too much. Under stress. So this blue one was literally the bane of my life. For some reason I was like, oh, I'm visually impaired, but I want to hand bead this jacket. So I spent like 6 months gluing on all the gemstones and nearly lost my mind. But this character was like, a sadder version of the housewife character. So like she does not want to be in the house all the time. She feels really lonely. Like her husband just gets in from work, and just watches TV, and she's just not feeling fulfilled. She's really sad. So that's why we have like the blue and the kind of droplets. Like it's meant to kind of be in shape as if it was wet. So like the water's like gathered here. Yeah, and then we drew this print for her that's again kind of watery.
And that's why we gave her the blue colour, because obviously it goes a lot with kind of melancholy and sadness. And blue. And same with the shape. Like it's quite a classic 50s shape, but just with the slightly odd lapels and collar, because she's like unhappy and doesn't want to be part of this like suburban world.
We try and make everything as affordable as possible, but because we pay like a living wage,
it makes it really expensive.
It makes it like too expensive for some people. So we introduced the hiring option, which is literally at like fast fashion prices. So you can get a t-shirt for like £3.
It's 10%?
No, it's 3%.
3% of the total price. So if there was like a dress that we sell for £100, you can hire it for £3. And you get it for a week. Yeah. And not only is it to make it more affordable, but also because people will go out and buy a dress for one event. And it's like, or you could just hire one, then give it back, and then you don't have to kind of throw it away after. So it like, it ticks a few boxes.
Yeah. So that's available to everyone. To start with, we both are doing what we enjoy. So in that sense,
we're super lucky.
But also there are lots of barriers. Like it's just a very tough industry. Like it's very elitist. People are kind of, once they have got to a certain point, they're not like looking down to try and help you up. They're like,
they're trying to kick you down so they can stay at the top.
You do kind of have to have a certain amount of like social media clout or like contacts or
it's quite important,
money or just all those kind of things. So
there's a lot of things we're struggling against at the same time.
Yes.
But we're lucky to be.
Yeah, we're lucky to be doing what we want to do.
What we want to do.
We kind of chose to start this brand being conscious of all of those potential barriers. So it's a struggle we've chosen, and it's fine.
To hopefully mean that other people don't have to have it as bad as so many other people do.
Yeah. The absolutely unreasonable like standard that like fast fashion has set as for like speed, prices, like all of that is just, it's impossible for a small brand to copy, let alone an ethical brand trying to like keep up with that.
And people expect it, and you're like,
when people are used to or can only afford like such low prices, so then we're out here like, oh, we're trying to be inclusive and do this, and it's like, well, we can't afford that. And it's like, I know, you should be able to, and it's not our fault. There's like people up at the top who are just like doing this.
I think money is one of the hardest things, because as an ethical brand, like people we work with, we want to pay them fairly and stuff, but then we can't afford to, so then we can't do a shoot, or we have to, it's just kind of hard trying to navigate and like do the things we need to do, but also treat everyone else how they deserve to be treated.
Yeah, it is. There's just a precedent set for just like exploiting people and getting free labor, and just like it's really hard if you say, well, I don't want to do that because I want to be ethical, like someone else will fill your space immediately. So to actually like take a stand and still continue to like get the opportunities is really difficult. Well, we're very lucky that we're like very good friends.
Because I know other twins who fight.
I know twins who don't even speak to each other anymore, which is
so we're very lucky that we get on very well, share the same like morals and stuff. But I think it's made such a difference having a studio, because the studio used my bedroom and I slept in the loft. So where you lived was work, and it was just a lot.
Anytime we were home together, we were like at work, and it was just very stressful. So having a separate space means we can now separate. Our home space is actually like a space to relax, and we don't have to talk about this. We can talk about other things. And
like when we're at home, we don't talk about business things. We do it when we're here, but it's just about kind of making those boundaries, I guess, as we go.
Even things where I'll say to her, like, please don't email me this, like, call me or this. Or
or like, don't text me, just put it all together nicely in an email. So we're just kind of slowly learning these things just to make it less stressful for each other. Well, you definitely do all the kind of networking and building community, because I really struggle talking to people, I guess. I like don't really I find it quite hard to like go out and socialize and network, but Daisy's amazing.
I do all of that.
You really keep us going in that department.
I feel like Scarlett has the work ethic then, probably.
You have a good work ethic
No,
as
but
well.
like I'll come home from the day of work and she'll have sewn like 6 garments and be like, Daisy, look, and I'm like, what?
Yeah.
So, but I think together, like, we're very good at just supporting each other and giving each other what we need, like whether that's a bit of encouragement or like a break and a bit of space. We're just there for each other. And I think that's really important.
Yeah, I agree. It's like a tough industry.
Yeah,
like it just is. But don't let yourself, like, we all have, like, I think you said earlier, like this kind of, it's like Devil Wears Prada. Don't be like that.
Don't
you know.
be into it.
Yeah. People think they have to come in like with an attitude to be one of the like fashion people, but it's so unnecessary. Like, it's at the end of the day, it's clothes. You know what I mean? So like, I think people just have to come in and not act like that, not treat other people like that, and if they get treated like that, to kind of not take it personal.
Yes.
You know?
Yeah, for sure. I think just develop a thick skin and like be kind to everyone around you, but also like
know when you're being taken advantage of, because it will happen a lot.
It will happen, and sadly you might have to like we had to introduce like a form and take people's card details, and we lend stuff because people were just giving them back with like mud and rubbish and stuff all over them. So it's like you do just have to learn from mistakes.
Yeah, and know your values, and don't feel like, oh no, we'll just give them, they can hire this for free, because it's like, no, you know the time and effort you put into your stuff. If someone tells you that's too expensive, like, unfortunately,
that's what it costs.
That's what it costs. You know, like, you know the effort you put into it, so don't let other people kind of go, no, I want this, because that's their problem.
So what's next is we have the collection hopefully coming out in September, and then also we're going to be showing this with Undiscovered. So you can find us on Instagram at monozygotic_, and then on TikTok I think at monozygotics1,
and we have a website which is www.monozygotics.com.